Welcome to Pauper Brews, a video series where I showcase on-tier Pauper decks and try to make them competitive. The deck I'm going to be showcasing today is Tortex, and while I have already made videos about it, I had to still test it on a league. Today I ran into Dimir Terror and Catgate, two of the decks to beat of the current meta. Without further ado, let's jump into the games. Alright, I'm gonna be playing against Dimir Terror in this match, so we'll see how it goes. Immediately I keep because I have a hand that has both Torture Existence, a couple of ways to put things on my graveyard, and also ways to get things back from the graveyard, who are the Eccentric Farmer and the Threefold. For now it's a very basic turn where I just play my ramp spells in the form of Sakura Tribe Elder, and from there I just start building mana to actually get the advantage on the long game. I proceed to sacrifice my Sakura Tribe Elder, and in here I will try and bait a counter spell with an Eccentric Farmer. Since that didn't happen, I will just pass the turn because I don't want my Torture Existence to get counter. My opponent tap out, and then I will proceed to attack them for 2. Then play Commune with the Gods, get the Eccentric Farmer, and immediately play a Torture Existence. End of turn, I can either get back Eccentric Farmer or another Sakura Tribe Elder. And I think I'll go with the Eccentric Farmer by discarding the Golgari Brown Scale. Then I can essentially just shrink down the Gourmand Angler, attack into it. The farmer gets killed, but now I play the other farm, well, the Threefold, because now I can return 2 lands. And I think it's better than just playing the farmer because the Gourmand Angler is not gonna attack into it. They start milling themselves and play another Angler, which could be problematic. Now, Monarchy is a huge issue right now, but what I'm gonna try and do is actually get through in the air by just walling the attack from the Angler with my Sakura Tribe Elder. So now I will play it. When they attack, I will sacrifice my Sakura Tribe Elder to actually prevent myself from getting some damage going while ramping myself. One thing that I need to take into account is how many swamps do I have, because I can only repeat this loop so much, as many times as I have basic lands on the library. So for now it's good, but it's not something sustainable. My opponent decides to go for Chainer Ascetic, and I will, at the upkeep, and this is very important, put a stop and then get back a creature with Golgari Brown Scale. So that way, on the upkeep, I can put the Golgari Brown State ability on the stack and draw it. And in essence, it creates a loop where I have seemingly almost infinite creatures. Now I will, in my upkeep, try to cast the Kitchen Imp. I will put it, they will counter it, but I return the Sakura Tribe Elder and my Golgari Brown Scale. I see that in this position, probably the best scenario is either playing just the Sakura Tribe Elder. So I guess I'll go with that. And then pass the turn, just by repeating the process of fogging the attack. And then at the upkeep, putting the Golgari Brown Scale into the graveyard to generate the loop. Now they keep playing more big creatures, and I will repeat the same process. And since I have 1 more mana than before, particularly 1 more black mana, I can also play another Kitchen Imp if needed. And this is another play or a scenario that you can actually use, or do you use very often, which is chaining kitchen imps together, because what that will create is that it will put one more creature back into your hand in essence while casting this kitchen imp. So that's what I'm going to go for right now, but both go to counter, so I end up with one in hand. But I was able to actually just drew a ledge walker. So right now what I'm gonna try and do is play the farmer, and since I haven't actually played land yet, I can return back this forest and play the ledge walker. And if I play next turn the Manners Gate, it's a lethal attack, because both will pump for 5. So because of that, I don't block here, and I take 10. I bring back the brown scale, and I just pump it. I could even deal 4 more damage by playing 2 imps, but my opponent will concede before that happens. Yep, an 11/11 Ledge Walker will do it. Right? So let's go to the second game and the cyber plan. Alright, as far as the cyber goes, it can vary depending on the version you're playing against. If it's the regular version where they are using Nihil Spellbomb to deal with your graveyard, then you may want to add a couple of these um, artifact hates. But if you aren't sure and then you don't play, and if you're unsure and you think they are playing Rotten Reunion, then don't bring it in, because otherwise they are useless. But you do want to bring in are the Spore Frogs, because those will prevent them from killing you, and you put them in a position where the racers are not gonna be close, because the Spore Frog will, as long as you can maintain the loop with the Spore Frog and another creature in the graveyard, you can play. You can keep playing them and basically denying their attacks. Another card that also comes in against them, it's Fleshback Marauder, but again, it's kind of, it will depend on what you see on the other side, because if you see they are playing Rotten Reunion, then this card is bad. But if you see they are playing Nihil Spellbomb, then this card is good, and the artifact hate should bring in. We got the dead weights and a couple of creep rats, because you are not gonna be fast enough to actually pay 5 mana to board wipe. But often is, if you want, you can also just keep one creep rat back in the deck. This is somehow like not a very fast start, but Dimir tend to be not as the fastest thing ever. My opponent moved down to 4, but they are doing a very good job in actually um, getting back in resources. And here's since I don't have a better play to do, I will just proceed to return the land to hand, and in essence, it becomes a way where I can draw two. I draw two cards basically with this one. Now I will play the Fleshback Marauder, and I will cycle the land at the end of their turn. Now, Kitchen Bimp, one thing that is very important is to keep in mind what kind of removal do they run. They run 4 snuff outs, and maybe a singleton cast down and a couple of Chainer's Edict. And against half of the removal, all the black eaters are gonna be great against them. It's very useful to actually run black creatures that have pseudo ward or pseudo X-proof. And now, yeah, and that's what I was talking about. They were forced to play Snuff Out on my single green creature, because the black creature won't be hit by that. Now they play a terror, and they are potentially dead. because it's 6 damage in the air. Not every game is gonna go like this, but it will give you a pretty clear idea on how you can approach these matches.
Got him!
Alright, this game is gonna be against the top dog of the format, or Catgate, or however it's called. I keep this hand because it has some action going on for the initial turns. And I see they go with Modern Age on turn 2. I will go with a very standard star with Commune with the Gods, just to get to put the Tortex instance on hand. I decided to go with that instead of going for the Wayfinder, because hitting an earlier Tortex instance is better than just milling it. And since I don't have a way to bring it back, like Turbo Repossession, it's better to try and get them before you get it milled. At least that was my train of thought there. Okay. Since I have Torture Existence, I'm very happy to putting a brown scale into hand, but I need to be careful to actually play it and play around counterspell. So here's a very interesting play where I play Commune with the Gods, and I hit a second Torture Existence. My opponent plays Spell Pierce, and then I have the option to either pass or just play the second Torture Existence. But since these decks only run a couple of Spell Pierce main deck, or just a combination of Spell Pierce and one Spike, then all of a sudden puts them in a position where either they have it or not. And I decided to go for it, and of course they didn't have it. Now they are attacking for 2. They could have dealt a couple more damage. So right now I'm gonna put the Sacred Tribe Elder, play that, and at the end of turn I will put a Kinche Imp. I could also have done it right now, under turn, but I wanted to bait a counter spell out of it, so I'll do it end of turn by that. They play in a Guardian. It's kind of problematic because I don't have a very good way to actually block it. But I will try and do my best. The Ledgewalker is also very good. And now it's just a matter of me finding a way to get back a Azorious Gate. So right now I will get a Stellar Wayfinder, and actually found one out of it. So it means that next turn I can start attacking with the Ledgewalker. So here's very interesting because they are trying to raise me, and they hit me for 12 this turn and put me down to 8. But if I'm very careful with my plays, at this rate, I can outrun it, because I can start just pumping my Ledgewalker and then cycling 2 Golgari brown skills from the graveyard to actually start gaining 2 life per turn. I think they realized that at some point, but I'm not sure they know I have another brown skill. Also, I didn't want to actually draw the brown skill there because it's better for me to have it on the graveyard. And that is because otherwise I will lose 2 life points. And if they put me down to 12, if they do the exact same plane, they just hit me for 12, and I will be up to 16 almost, or at least 14. No, yeah, 16 will be. Now I just pass the turn. They decided to pump the Guardian and just stay back with the Vector Glider. This is an interesting spot as well, because now it means that I can't attack very well. But what this will do is that now I can gain at first 8 life, and then put me down to 10, or up to 10. Now I hit them for 5. They didn't block, and now I can get back. I am decided to actually just get back my Crib Rat and clear the board. I will take the win. So let's go for and see how I cyber against them. Alright, as far as cyber goes, spot removal is not very good. So let's get rid of that. Also, I like to trim a couple of the things that mill myself. Just because, again, graveyard hate, most likely Relic of Progenitus, Nihil Spellbomb. So I don't want to rely much on the graveyard. That's why I also got the Wayfinder and the Treefolk. Also got one reposition. What I brought in was one more Creep Rat and two Fleshbag Marauders. And a couple of Spore Frogs, because the Spore Frogs actually can deny the attacks from them. This is not a Hana keep, but this is one that I can. So right now, I can decide to play turn 1 Spore Frog or just play a Sadri Wayfinder. But I will go by using my mana efficiently and get back Basilisk Gate, because in the long run, the Basilisk Gates are going to win me the game, even though I don't have much mana to work with. So right now, I'm gonna play the Eccentric Farmer. And here I was debating where I want to pump the Wayfinder or just cast this. But I guess it was fine, just trying to evade the counter as it is. Now they play the cat. Now it's a tricky spot. But I will go with the plan of attacking. And then they went with Suffocating Fumes. That was brutal. My plan was to attack with the Saturday Finder. And then just fuck their attack with the Sakura Trial, but that didn't happen. And now I want to get rid of the Relic of Progenitus. So I just go ahead and cast my Conclave Naturalist. I will fuck this attack just to not get too low on life. And I decided to go with the Fleshbag Marauder, because this way I will win the race if things continue the way they are. Also, I will lead with the Golgari Brown Scale, just to have one more body into the field. I play Squadron Hawk, searching for 3 more, so I know they have 3 unknown cards on their hand. I will pump this and attack for 10. I might they just block and cast Prismatic Strands, which is fine, I guess, but hurtful because now this cat is gonna hit me for 6, and I'm gonna block with the Golgari Brown Scale. Then they play another Squadron Hack, and then I think they made a mistake in here, because I will lead with Edgewalker and then with the Crib Rats. And I think I run into the... I think I shouldn't have played the Edgewalker, but they cast Prismatic Strands in a wrong timing. And now they will put me down to 1. Whereas if they... Well, if they done it in their turn, I wouldn't have do it. So basically, what I didn't board wipe last time, even if they hadn't cast the Prismatic Strands, was because I wanted to set up this play where I can pump all my creatures and everything survives the board wipe of the Crib Rats. So that's a pretty neat trick you can do along with the Crib Rats. And I will basically make it again. And now I will again bring back my Brown Scale, and then I will try and pump immediately my Crib Rats. But I think I go for casting a Prismatic Strands. So in response, and since I don't want them to... I don't want these to hit the graveyard, I have to do it in response and kill everything. So that way they can't recast it again. So I deal a couple additional damage and they choose green. That's why I didn't attack with this one. And now I top deck a Torture Resistance and it resolved. And now it's pretty much downhill from here, because now I play the Fleshback Marauder. They are forced to sack the cat, and now I loop the brown scale to get a Spore Frog, and this will seal the deal, because now they can deal with the frog. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you are looking more like this, please look at this video.
Target neutralized.